Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rundown with Exposure Baseball guru, owner, and basically captain, Brandon Turner. Brandon, how are things going for you?
Everything's going good. What about you?
All good here, just busy. You know how it is. I actually gotten to see two high school baseball games since you and I talked last, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But first, let's start off with the college guys because those are the guys that are really going with their season right now, right? So throw some guys out there. Let's talk about some exposure alums.
Yeah, Gavin Rogers, Saudi Daisy kid, there at West Alabama, had a huge week. He was one of our players of the week. Went 5 for 10, double, home run, 3 RBIs. They also, I think they won 2 out of 3 in that series. I think they were playing Auburn Montgomery, if I remember right. Micah Jenner starting to heat up in a big way right now for Carson Newman. 7 for 12 on the weekend, 4 doubles, 2 RBIs. That was a 4-game weekend sweep for Carson Newman, so that was huge.
Wow.
Yeah, Gunnar Ricketts also Carson Newman, huge weekend, 6 for 10, 3 doubles, home runs, 7 RBIs. So those actually, Gavin, Micah Jenner, Ricketts were all 3 co-players of the week for us. Parker Nolan had another really good weekend, 3 for 9 in a sweep, or actually 4 RBIs in a sweep over Illinois, Chicago. He was 2 for 5 last night against Memphis. So he continues to swing it. He's the good thing about Parker too is they had him at third. He'll DH. He'll play first. He can move around. The big thing is he can swing it, and he's been anchoring, that the middle of that order. One that we talked about last week that continues to do really well is Ethan Cady. He was 4 for 10 on the weekend, 3 doubles, home run, 8 RBIs against EKU. Had another home run yesterday against Radford. So once again, good to see that. Jake Hagenow was huge for MTSU. They went down and beat South Alabama 2 out of 3. That he's a guy that, he's kind of like Parker in the sense of he'll catch some, he'll play first some, he's even played outfield some, but he's always the catcher when Payne Wigington throws each weekend. But he was 3 for 7, 2 doubles, home run, 3 RBIs. And like I said, that was a series win for MTSU. Payne Wigington, like I just named before, lights out, 6 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits only for MTSU. Kai Bush continues to throw it really well, went 5 innings for St. Mary's against Cal. Gave up 1 run, I believe, yes, and added 8 strikeouts. One guy that we've always loved, and obviously Big Ten just got started this week. Mitch Jeb, freshman for Michigan State, started as a freshman at shortstop, had a really good week, 5 for 14, double, triple, RBI. So it was good to see him getting off to a really good start there. Some JUCO guys that are, tearing it up right now is Matthew Ellis at Walters State. He went to Tennessee. I think we talked about him last week. Transferred to Walters. Went 5 for 14, home run, 3 RBIs. And then Jerry Hammonds, who's one of the better, hitters, even when he was in high school, when he was at Farragut. Then he's been now is his 3rd year at Walters State since we had COVID last year. But 7 for 15, 3 home runs, double, and again Walters swept that weekend. And then lastly, another guy that continues to be really good is Blake Burkhalter at Auburn. He was up to 96 this past weekend, 2 1/3 scoreless relief against Boston College. Added 3 strikeouts for that too, and that was with, I think when they took Burkhalter out is when Boston College, I don't know if you saw it or not, they were down 9-1, 9th inning, they had an out. Anyways, Boston College ended up scoring 8 to tie it, and then won 11-9 in an extra inning. Yeah, it was definitely wild. But and then lastly, John Rhodes continues to swing it really well for Kentucky there. So yeah, really good weekend for a lot of our guys. Some of our guys are in that area where they're shut down for COVID or whatever it may be right now. So looking forward to seeing some of those guys that have been shut down getting back out there this weekend too.
Yeah, Listen, you mentioned Gunner Ricketts. I want to say one thing. Gunner coached with us this summer, and I informed him that the catch that they ruled a catch in the Macaulay Baylor game several years ago was not a catch. And he said, it was a catch. I picked the ball up out of his glove. I said, where was the glove? He said, it was on the ground. I said, not a catch.
Yes, that's exactly right.
He said, you're right. That wasn't a catch. He's been all these years thinking that was really a catch. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that. You mentioned John Rhodes. Let's talk about John. What a hitter. That dude, I mean, from the moment he stepped on campus in Lexington, he's just tore it up.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that he flew under the radar in a sense. I mean, I get it. Like, a lot of people would sit there and say, well, wait a minute. He flew under the radar. He's in the SEC. But he wasn't this high profile guy outside of us. We would look at him and be like, okay, he's a freak athlete. And, he would always have a lot of success, but for whatever reason, with perfect game and stuff like that, he just never got that much attention, that much love. And, last year, obviously he got off to a really good start for Kentucky. He was co-freshman of the year nationally. And really and truly, he's putting himself in a position to where, he could be a first, second round, pick this year because of the fact that, from the outfield, he'll be, 95 to 98, from the outfield. He's a 6'5" runner. He can hit for power. He continues to do really well. Last night, he was 2 for 3, had another double. And then the other thing too is, like his exit velocities, even on some outs that I've been seeing, 105, ground out, 106 line out. And so even when he's, not getting hits, he's still, banging it around. But Chattanooga Christian kid, and, he opened a lot of eyes last year, but he's just kind of continuing to do what we always knew he could do. But again, he just never got, the attention that a lot of the others got, which he was on a really good team with Parker Nolan, Andre Tarver, and those guys when he was with us. But again, really, really happy for him, excited for him because he's a tireless worker, even in the, Christmas break and so forth. He's at the facility all the time. He's not somebody you have to drag in there. He's going to work as hard as anybody you see. So again, he deserves all of this, and really excited that he's having a really good year again.
Yeah, me too. Great kid. I think a lot of them. When I was coaching at Macaulay, he was playing for, I guess, the Twisters. He was probably a 6th grader, and he was over at Macaulay at practice. And I went down there and watched him, and I really liked him. And of course, maybe I tried to get him to come to Macaulay. Maybe I had that conversation, maybe not.
Yeah.
But he didn't come to Macaulay, so I really don't like John that much.
Yeah,
but
don't blame him.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about high school, because Monday, Tennessee high school starts, and a lot of excitement, of course, for the first of the year. And then, of course, with Baylor, a nationally ranked team sitting right here in Chattanooga is a big deal. But Georgia's continuing to go, and they actually have had some baseball weather this week. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about some of our dudes down in Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, one guy that's swinging it really well is Caleb Nix, guy who played for you last year, and
big donkey.
Yeah, 3 home runs. I think he hit one at top of the trees there at Dalton the other day. So he's swinging it really well. Another guy that'll be committed here soon is Caleb Valdez. He's having a really good year. He hit a walk-off home run last night or the night before. So it's good to see him. I mean, just a guy that you can put in right field, you can put at first base. First base, he's defensively probably one of the best first basemen you're going to see, especially out of a high school kid. So again, he's one that I think will be committed here soon. Tylan Hornbuckle down in Alabama is having a really big year. Had another home run last night. I think he's like 14 for 30 on the year for Boaz. So he's somebody that's having a really good year. So excited for him. And then just some names that that are off to good starts, and you know that they're going to continue what they're doing is Cannon Stafford, Derek Heritage. He's gotten much more physical. He's, before he was, a guy that was kind of undersized, but now, he's put a lot of strength on. So he's kind of reaping some benefits right now off of that. Will Roper is doing really well along with him there at Northwest. Bo Rudy, Saturday at AT&T, he was 88-90, 2023. He's a guy that's getting a lot of attention, and I think he'll continue to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Poindexter, he went 2 innings. Georgia signee, he went 2 innings last night for Gordon Lee, 6 strikeouts. It was a beat down, so they got him out after the 2 innings. And then Tanner Wilson continues to throw it really well. So those are some Georgia guys right now that are doing really well and we're excited about. But like I said, it's really early right now. So everybody's still trying to get their footing, a little bit of attraction here heading into to the middle of the year for them. And then, like you said, high school for Tennessee starting up next week.
Right. I was actually there Saturday at AT&T to see Heritage and Gordon Lee, and I got to see Bo throw, and he looked really good. Really polished guy for a sophomore. I liked what I saw out of him, and then Tanner did come in and throw there and threw well. But let's, really we should talk about Poindexter at the plate, right? Because
that's right.
He was playing first base and he was hitting.
Yep.
And he texted me the night before because he knew I was coming to the game and said for me to make sure that I was ready to watch him put on a hitting exhibition.
Yeah.
And
he'll do it. The thing is I went and watched him play against LFO. I think it was his first game of the year.
Yeah.
And it's wild looking out there, and Poindexter's playing shortstop, and and here's the thing: for a high school kid, he does a really good job. It's just for us, all he does is pitch, and it's one of those things where it's the difference between high school and travel ball. You gotta, as a high school coach, you gotta take what you have, and he's one of those guys that not only is he going to be really good on the mound, he finds a way there at the plate, especially for high school baseball.
It's no doubt the lessons he took a few years ago, from me. I mean, no doubt. Any success he gets I get the credit for that.
Proof is in the pudding. There's no question about that.
That's right. All right. So Tennessee starts up Monday. Excited about that, and I guess we'll start talking more about those guys once they actually get going. Next week, because there's really not a whole lot to say now, just hype.
Well, I tell you, even on the Gordon Lee thing, something that's definitely going to be a good matchup next week is Baylor versus Gordon Lee. Obviously Baylor lineup wise is, head and shoulders, better, but with Gordon Lee throwing Poindexter, that's going to be a really good matchup. It's going to be something that is exciting to see. So again, we're excited to see them.
Yeah.
Hey, and another one, McMahon, they start off with Walker Valley. It's gonna be interesting to see. Offensively, they're just okay. Gavin Peterson's going to anchor that lineup. But the amount of arms that they have, that's going to be exciting to see. So, there's a lot of things. With Tennessee starting up, it's going to be a good week next week. But I think a lot of those kids, just like the Georgia kids, are just going to be excited to get back out there finally and play against somebody else. Obviously, they weren't allowed to scrimmage anybody here in Tennessee. They had the inter squad, so it's going to be exciting to get out there and watch some of these guys, officially back with their high schools.
Exactly. So we'll talk more about that next week. We'll talk about the guys and, of course, the big Baylor Gordon Lee matchup. We'll talk about that and talk about Tennessee high school as they get going. So, Brandon, as always, great information. Always good to talk to you. Always good to get our kids' names out there, and we will continue to push more and more out there. Anything else that I didn't ask you?
Nope, I think that's good. But looking forward to next week, and I appreciate you as always.
Absolutely. All right. Folks, this has been The Rundown with Exposure Baseball. Brandon Turner, this is Greg Payne. Hope you guys have a good week.